Hey guys, another thing to remember is when you finish with your clay projects in the classroom, you're going to have bits and pieces of clay all over the place. It's really important to get all of those clay pieces together. If they feel a little dry to the touch, just spray them. You have a little spray bottle that should be on your clay cart. Give it a little spritz and just a little bit, not too much. And then it's really important that you wedge all of those pieces of clay back in the MIA room on this table. So go ahead, have a look in your container, your clay block here, and just make sure you'll have all these pieces of clay that are left over. Make sure you have a parent that collects those and keeps them moist under a damp rag. And then, or reminding the children to keep their pieces wet. Under the rag so they don't dry out. So once you have these pieces of clay at the end of the lesson, you come back here and you take them and you must wedge the clay ready for the next class or whoever's going to use that clay next. Nothing's worse than coming to a block of clay and that's all that's left and it's just all these bits and bobs. So do your neighbour a favour by grabbing them all and wedging that clay. So take what you can manage. Some people can only manage this amount. I find the twist method is really easy when you just twist it off. Get whatever you can handle and make sure your table is dry. You can always clean the table with a wet rag, dry it with a dry one, and then you go ahead and you start wedging the clay using this method where you're using your whole body over the top of the clay and you're pushing down like so. And as you're turning it, it's creating this ram's head style wedge. And that helps to get all the air bubbles out and it prepares the clay for the next person who needs to use it. So keep wedging it and then you need to flip it over and wedge it again on the other side. Now if that's too hard for you to cope with, you can just throw it down on the table and get it into a kind of a decent state for the next person to use, because nothing's worse when you haven't got much time and you've got a whole bunch of clay and you have to prep it and it's not in a good spot. So think of the projects, know that people are not going to use anything more than a tennis ball, so that's probably a bit too much. So I would go ahead and take some of that off and get it into a tennis ball size, maybe like that, and just get it where they can reuse it and just get all the marks off and then put that piece of clay back in the bag, and then your neighbour and your other parent volunteers will thank you for it.